Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another installment of the State of FEH Podcast. We're on our 28th episode now. I'm your host, DTM, and I'm joined by, as always, Oblivion Knight and Joel from Pheology. How are you two doing this fine evening?
It's been a long day, but we are here and we are ready to discuss the Tellius dominance.
Yes, Tellius finally got their due after all my gloating about Awakening.
I am so thankful that I got an amazing Sharena, and now I'm ready to stop summoning. That summoning that much is just exhausting.
It really is. I would love for every banner from here out to just not be for me. That'd be great.
Yeah, IS has it out for you this year.
Yeah.
You do realize this means we're getting a Summer Petra on the next banner, right?
I really hope. I want her to get an ult, but at the same time, I'm just like, please, I need to save for Felix. I know that's coming. That's an inevitability that's coming that I have to spend orbs on. I'm just like, oh my god, it's
Yeah. Don't worry. No matter what happens, Brave Felix will end up on the top 5 worst from Joel's
oh my
video.
God. Stop. He'll be right next to Brave Robin, or should I say Brave Grima?
All right. Immediately starting off this installment with shots being fired. You love to see it, I guess. And yeah, it's a monumental time as fans of Fire Emblem because we got some amazing news from the Direct, right? We have, all the news about the next Fire Emblem. How's your thoughts on the leaks being true?
Oh, I mean, it was great, right? We're totally not getting anything at all. Probably another year in waiting, but hopefully another year, maybe. I don't know. I think we said it every year, and then it just never happens. So who knows?
All right, I'll be the copium person here. So really what happened here is they're saving Fire Emblem because they know it's going to be really good and they want it on the new system that's going to be announced sometime early 2025. That's what's really going on.
Right.
Yeah,
I mean, it makes
definitely.
sense.
I mean, it would Go ahead.
But I was honestly surprised they announced Metroid Prime 2 for this because I thought they would for sure put that on the new Switch. Because that's like a console seller a lot of times, you know what I mean? So I was kind of confused.
I was surprised too. I thought they would save it, yeah, because it does make sense to since we're at the end of the Switch lifetime to save all the hard hitters for the next one to make sure it sells well. And
right,
I feel like this is super weird given that Metroid Prime is when was it first announced? In 2017 or something like that. It's been 7
years ago. 7 years.
Yeah.
It makes me wonder how good it is, and I hope I'm wrong about that because I know Metroid fans have been waiting for a long time. So, I worry.
Right. I guess we'll have to wait and see on that. But it does appear like the next Fire Emblem most likely will be on the Switch successor, and I don't know. Have you heard of this theory about? Obviously the leaks, that leaked Engage also mentioned FE4. There's been some discussions on the various forums that maybe the leaker mistook Emblem Sigurd as confirmation of the FE4 remake being in progress.
No. There's no way, right? That'd be horrible. That's way overstepping.
It would be, but that's just something that's been entering into the conversation, which I find really funny that we're at that level of speculation and I guess copium.
Right, everyone's that desperate.
Yeah.
I feel like honestly that the game was probably was real and it was probably almost done and they were just hey, you know what? Engage did pretty bad. Let's just move this one to Switch 2. Let's update it for the new everything, right? And
but Engage didn't do bad. It did
okay.
It did good. It just didn't do Three Houses level. It didn't do great at all.
Didn't it do, I think it did worse than Fates, didn't it?
If you count all 3 games of Fates, it did do worse than Fates.
Sure.
But it is I believe right now it is currently the third best-selling game of the series, if I remember correctly.
You are right. Yeah, it did worse than Fates and Awakening. So I mean, like, yes, that's good, right? It's still better than, like, it's obviously a good selling game, right? I'm not trying to say that, but like compared, like, you don't want to downtrack, right? You're always trying to build momentum, and like going down by that much too. It's quite a bit. Like, it's more than half the sales of Three Houses, which is pretty rough. It's almost half the sales of Fates. That's
well. Let's be real though. The bigger thing is we had to wait so long for it.
Yeah, that's true.
It needed to be great for that amount of time, and it wasn't great. I think we can all say that for sure.
I mean, the gameplay is excellent. I love the gameplay, but
yes.
like, it just doesn't resonate. I feel like that's the thing that's like with Three Houses is like they really found the recipe on how to like get people to keep talking about this game and playing it, right? Like you gotta add some spice.
Yeah, the spice of life for sure. But yeah, I guess we'll have to wait and see like what they do with the new Fire Emblem. I wasn't expecting anything, to be perfectly honest. Honestly, it was even shocking to me that like we had big hitters like Metroid Prime even being announced on that direct, and
a new Zelda where you play
and a new
as
Zelda. Yeah. Oh my god, I'm so excited for that. Like
The Legend of Link, it's finally happening.
Yes. Oh my goodness. But yeah.
Didn't Ordinary Cheese Wizard say she couldn't wait to throw old beds at foes?
Yeah.
I loved that.
Oh man.
Yeah. Things are looking great for the Switch's swan song, I guess.
Right.
Is what it's called. Yeah. But yeah, enough about direct news and all the awesome Fire Emblem news from that. We had the State of FEH, and we're going to be talking about FEH things, including all the things that have happened since the last installment. Starting with, let's go chronologically with Legendary Male Corrin. Thoughts?
So you remember when they released Legendary Xander? And everyone was like, "Hey man, this unit's good, I swear. He's actually better than you think." And everyone's like, "Okay, sure, right?" And then like 1 month later, everybody was like, "Nah, we were right. He's trash." So we should all just like accept it now that Corrin is trash and not try to like be on copium for a month or two, right? Like just okay, you know what? Sorry, somebody has to be the loser out of the legendaries. It just happens to be always Fate's males characters. So hopefully Takumi doesn't show up anytime soon to get.
Here's the problem is I don't hear anyone making that excuse for Corrin.
Yeah,
man.
I remember when I did my like reaction, I was like trying to be optimistic and be like, "Oh, he's pretty tanky. We are in the era of Omni tanks." And then like the stats came out. I was like, "Okay, this can't be work. This is not working." So I mean, it is nice that, we have Legendary Male Corrin after so long, but I feel in some ways, like Legendary Female Corrin genuinely might be better in some sense.
Oh, she is. It's not even close. Like, she's way better in my opinion. Like,
Yep.
Her whole kit works so well with Lagoo's friend. Like, it actually synergizes so nicely. And she doesn't really even need her C slot open, so she can run like Breath of Life or something like that as well.
Right.
She just like that. Lagoo's friend 4 fixed all of her problems because before she had to run buffer, and now it's like, nope, I can just run Lagoo's friend 4. I get non-pierceable DR. I have brave action on my PRF special, which is insane. She's really, really solid. Like for considering like she's like what 4 years old or 5 years old? 4 years?
Like
I think
4 years, I believe. Yeah.
And she's that good. That's a big thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and yeah, I mean, I'm the same boat as you. Legendary Male Corrin, unfortunately, is the Xander of this batch. It's always around this time too, where they have to like throw in someone that is sort of just going to have to take the heat on the summer banners that people are actually looking forward to. And we'll talk about the summer banners later, but yeah, it is, I guess, a little bit disappointing for Legendary Male Corrin fans. I'm personally like, it's all right. Like, I always like Legendary Female Corrin a lot better, and I mean, I guess we completed the set, so I guess that's something good. No Yado, though.
I don't like Corrin. Like, I know I say that all the time, and then I have like a whole bunch of plus 10 Corrins, but like, I actually don't like this. This is, I swear to God.
Yeah, Oblivion's just a tsundere towards Corrin, I guess.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm fine with this. Like, I'd rather it be Corrin than, I don't know, somebody else that actually like. But I think that the thing is like, it's, because I think last year it was in June and the year before, because it was like Xander in June, I think, and then Guinevere in June, and then, but this time it was in May. So now I'm afraid, are we gonna get double whammy this year, or is it just, did Corrin like die for our sins?
So I was just looking at that today because I was looking at a bunch of the legendary heroes, and I was thinking the same thing. I wonder if we've got another dud. In the last, I mean, if you count it this way, in the last year, like the last 12 months, we've gotten both Guinevere and Corrin. And normally our legendaries are a higher level than that. So and we've gotten some really good legendaries too, but you still, like you said, you wonder what's coming up next and if maybe they're dumping all of their design resources into emblem units.
Right. That makes sense.
Wait, is next one an legendary or is it an emblem? I guess
next one's emblem.
Right. Yeah. So it can't be a dud, surely.
That's the funniest thing is like when we got Ike, everybody was like, his ring's good, but it's not like crazy cracked. But then like Ike himself is crazy cracked, and only his friend 4 is crazy cracked. Right. It'll be interesting to see like how this emblem hero ends up. Like, will their ring be cracked? Will the unit be cracked? Will the fodder be cracked? Will all 3 be cracked? Right? Like, I think it's gonna be interesting. We don't know what color it's gonna be for sure because of like all the weird things going on with the calendar. Because a lot of the mythics got like reruns on normal banners.
Right.
But I think it will be green or colorless. I'm not sure.
Green or colorless?
Maybe. I think blue's open too, but blue's kind of old. The newest unit there is, actually they're all kind of old. The newest unit there is Vale. Green has Camilla, so she's like December.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty interesting. I mean, what you said about which aspect of the emblem heroes being like really, really strong, I think that is actually one of the more like interesting facets of discussions when speculating, because there's just so many like ways IS could go about it, and like there's still already so many theories about, because we know who the emblem heroes are going to be, and so it's like which effect will they get and so forth. And while there's some patterns, especially when it comes to the inheritable skills and their perf specials, there hasn't been really a pattern generally for the actual emblem effect itself, because like even besides like, you know, general like themes, like Ike being a tank gives like damage reduction, Marth being more offensive giving like slaying and stuff like that, even though obviously slaying could be used for anything. So it'll be interesting to see what they do.
I'm also interested to see what order because they're not going in any particular order, it seems, right? They're just kind of going whatever's popular. But if that is the case, right, like we can kind of assume it's going to be like similar to the legendaries almost, because like when it came to the legendaries, it was like we got 2 OCs and then we got Ike, because Ike's very popular, and then we got like Ephraim, Lynn, Hector. So I wouldn't be surprised if we see like Lynn pretty soon. Like Lynn could be this month for all we know, right?
Lynn could be the green bow, yeah.
And she's very scary because like she has a lot of different options, from like being broken and extending range, which I really hope they don't do, but they could also do other stuff like, you know, like desperation or potent or like brave or something ridiculous like that, right? Because her emblem in the game, she had like one of the strongest emblems, so like it's kind of scary.
She's the one that has the decoys, isn't she?
Yes.
She has decoys, and then she also has like that attack that can hit like all the way across the map, and it hits like 1 billion times.
Let's make our maps even more crowded by making like little decoy Lins.
I'll be kind of mad if Lynn gets that instead of us getting an actual summoner like in like Sacred Stones and stuff, because that would have been so cool. But if Lynn does it, I guess like she'll just like summon 5 of herself. I'm like, okay. Am
I looking at the right calendar here for June? Like this is Hinoka, Veronica, and Embla for red, which is okay, and then we have Sida for blue, Xander for green, and then
So
Medius for Mortis.
Sita's gone.
Sita's gone,
Yeah,
yes.
Sita's gone. Oh, so
I just
blue's wide
realized that.
open. Oh,
Blue is
okay.
wide open, so maybe it is blue then.
It's got to be blue. They won't
'Cause we can
they
get
won't put the
Attuned
new emblem next to
Sita.
Xander.
Yeah.
It would either be Ivy or Sheeta here, Attuned Sheeta here. Those are both really good. Like Veil, Ivy, or Attuned Sheeta plus an Emblem hero. That's actually a cracked blue share. Like I would definitely roll in that.
Yeah.
The whole reason why I didn't want to roll in blue to begin with because Sheeta was there. I was like, who's going to use this unit?
Yeah.
But like Ivy obviously has like ridiculous fodder and is a good unit, and Sheeta is a solid unit, and she has really good fodder as well. So it's very, very nice.
Yeah. And Attuned Sita, is super, super nice fodder, especially like Guard Echo, Distant Bonus doubler, I believe. Very, very good for Omni Tanks. And it seems like Omni Tanks have been, I mean, Legendary Male Corrin tried, for sure, but like in general, Omni Tanks have been eating pretty good so far, including with this Dawn Brigade banner that we have gotten with finally the Dawn Brigade with Edward, Leonardo, and also Nolan got added into the game as well, funnily enough.
Oh my god. That was such a slap in the face. It was funny, but it was a slap in the face. It was like, oh, Nolan, the original leader of the Dawn Brigade, you know, that important character, let's just throw him in as an accessory. I'm like, oh my god.
Yeah.
It was sad.
It was sad, but honestly, I found it funny, so I guess it's okay. I'm just super, super happy we got like the Dawn Brigade with an Attuned Micaiah, who is honestly pretty cracked, if I do say so myself.
He's insane. What were they thinking with this unit?
I want to call her the sleeper unit of the year, but I don't think I can because so much of that is because her skill was written so poorly.
Right.
Like we found out after the fact how much she actually did, and that's so I don't know if I can actually count her as a sleeper unit because of that, but that's from what we thought versus what she actually ended up to be. She is just an amazing unit in every stretch of the imagination. She's just great.
I just want to say on record that my video is more accurate than Phoenix Masters because I misread. My misreading made my video better. So I'm just saying.
That's true. So yeah, like there must have been some translation error or something because like Micaiah does neutralizes the 2 penalties and after a bunch of testing, we figured out like the priority order of the penalties, and it is top down. So on the exclamation point where you can click to see the list of penalties or status effects, the penalties closest to the top gets priority, and so the top 2 will have their penalty cleansed, which is really, really interesting. It's obviously a lot weaker than Freyr, but I mean, obviously, Micaiah is a lot better unit than Freyr. Just a little bit.
Preach it. She's better than Freyr. So much. She's ridiculous. Like, she has everything in her web. Like, she has a ridiculous amount of stats. She has double effectiveness. She has slaying. She has true damage. She has cleansing. She has healing. She has guidance 5. Like, that's nuts. And that's not even including her B skill. Like has the Omni chill with all the, like, spreading debuffs. Like, they like really went hard on this Micaiah. Like there must be a Micaiah dev because like holy crap.
Yeah, I mean, I'm thankful there's a Micaiah dev, and I've been testing her out, and like honestly, I think the thing I like the most about her is the providing the guidance 5. It's similar to Legendary Alencia in that way, in that it just provides a lot of like flexibility and like maneuverability. I really, really like mobility and action economy, and so like it works really well with what I like to do, especially when it comes to summoners duels. But she's also ranged, meaning that obviously she is a lot more important nuke when it comes to modes like summoners duels, and potentially even like Aetheryte's defense, where you can, if you have her on like a flyer line, you can definitely like just slot her in. And so
But in the past, when it's been a ranged guidance beacon like that, we've been like, oh, well, that's great that they're ranged, but they don't have very much bulk. And that is not the case with this unit at all. Oh, gosh, she is. What does she get, like minus 38 is the
that
standard?
was what's on the trailer, yeah.
Oh, gosh.
They must have done that on accident. I don't think they did that on purpose. Like, there's no way they did that on purpose, right? They were probably like, oops, we coded it wrong. It's now a feature. Like they did with like Legendary Azura back in the day. Remember that? Where they're like, oh yeah, we totally didn't mean to do this, but now that it's here, Azura just buffs all stats by 6. You're like, okay, thanks, IS.
I'm looking at their design choices this year, and I'm not sure that was a mistake.
That's fair. They did add Duo Leon to the game, which is just like, okay. But yeah, I don't know. Like she is so good, and like Helios is just on the top right now. Like we got one of the best support nukes in the game, if not the best support nuke, right? It's like either her or Duo Robin, and then we have Ike, who is just by far there's no competition. He's the best tank in the game, and so like it feels real good. It feels. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
It feels nice.
Yeah, IS. Yeah, as I said, IS is out to get you this year, and they've been delivering. Not only that, but also to like skills that we can inherit to units as well. Like Edward comes with Breath of Life 4, which is the counter to burn damage that I guess a lot of people have been wanting for a while. Which units have you had Breath of Life 4 on so far?
I put it on my fodder factories and Ike so far. So it's on Lucina, who went to Micaiah, and then Micaiah went to Ganglot, and then Ganglot went to Ganglot, then Ganglot went to Micaiah, then to Ike. So they all have it. I did.
So just a peek behind the curtain. DTM and I got to hear Oblivion torture himself for like a week and a half over exactly how he was gonna get that skill to all of his different units. It was very amusing.
The thing is like because Micaiah has Guidance 5 in her weapon, she has an open C slot, and Crux is great. Don't get me wrong, Crux is amazing. But it's also really good. Breath of Life 4. Like, so I was like, if I can get this on this unit, I'm gonna do it.
It's perfect on her. It really is an amazing C skill for her.
And like like when using her, because of her like Guidance 5 effect, like you would want to be within like 2 spaces of a team anyways, and so like the 2 spaces restriction doesn't really matter. Like I've been like thinking of like running Breath of Life on my Maria, because she also has like obviously really good support with the Miracle, and Breath of Life 4 I think would work really well, especially since they share a similar range. I haven't figured out who else I want to put Breath of Life 4 on, which is honestly interesting because I was also talking to Satoshi about this, and he was also trying to like figure out who else to like put Breath of Life 4 on like support units, because it turns out there's not a lot of support units that work really well with Breath of Life 4, interestingly enough. It's mainly like the Omni tanks that definitely really appreciate it.
Infantry Pulse puts it on Desert Agreen, and that's on defense. That's an excellent pickup there. You can get the special cooldown other ways with her, especially if you are someone like Infantry Pulse who uses Infantry Pulse. Gatekeeper, I hate to say it, is an excellent user of.
Really?
Yeah, on defense right now he is. Yeah, this is ARD. Not I am not a believer in Gatekeeper in Summoner Tools.
Yeah,
I know he can be used here. Like, don't come at me. I understand you can.
Can he though?
But
can he?
You
can come at me.
You can.
I'll take it.
But I don't know that he's optimal. We'll say it that way. I'll try to be politically correct there. But yeah, he's actually a great user of it. God, who else? There's a lot of folks that have just like a spare C skill running around, especially on the more players you have on your team, the easier it is to get there. So like ARO and ARD is not too hard at all. You drop down to SD level, and of course your pickings get slim, and that's why Micaiah is so good with it.
Right. because like the C slot is actually really, really competitive. Like obviously with the guidance, if you don't have an Ivy to spare or Soaring Echo to spare, Canto control is obviously really, really important. Flyers, like you can run like Snap or something like that. So it's actually pretty competitive, at least in SD specifically. And in SD specifically, you also have to keep in mind the 2 spaces range as when you're running like a raid boss team, to make sure like your raid bosses don't go too far away from the range, is what I've been finding. But no, like
so I want on Nurgle. That's who I want on.
Oh, Nurgle. Yes, Nurgle's excellent. The problem I have with Nurgle is exactly what DTM was saying. I get conflicted over whether I want to use Canto Control or Breath of Life. Like they're both, yeah. Being an infantry, sometimes he's my only infantry on a team, and so that gets tough.
Yeah, it's like picking your poison. Like, are you going to get run over by like all the Canto distant remaining +1 or distant max +1s, or are you going to get just wailed out by like a nuke, like a super powerful nuke? And it's interesting. It's
a neat way that they're actually balancing things. Like I actually applaud this. Like now you have to make a choice, and like my Sharena team loves this, because there's a lot of people who are trying out Breath of Life, and so they're abandoning Canto Control. Of course, if you don't have Canto Control with a duo Sharena, it's a bad day.
Right,
yeah. Like, I feel like because we were used to having Canto Control for so long, like, we sort of forgot how necessary it was, and how, like, you know, how facing against teams with a bunch of Canto can be without Canto Control. And how important that is to trading. Because, like, if you let them, like, a unit like Yunaka could literally just, like, go in, attack, go out, and you literally can't do anything to retaliate. And so that's something you have to keep in mind on, like, Canto Control versus Breath of Life. Which is why, like, ideally you prefer to run Breath of Life on a unit that couldn't run Canto Control in the first place. Or on your tank, like, just flat out on your tank. But yeah, when it comes to like the support use for Breath of Life 4, it's interesting that it wasn't as impactful as I might have initially thought.
I think it's just like they've given us so many toys now. It's like everybody just has different types of nukes, and it's like, okay, which nuke do you want for today? It's like, okay, well, I don't know. Like it's kind of different than it used to be, where like we would get like one crazy skill per year almost, or like maybe 2 at the most, right? Like remember when Hardy Fiber came out? That skill just like completely changed the game. And same with Guidance 4, right? But even then with Guidance 4, we got like Soaring Guidance like a couple months here. So this year it's just like one after another, it feels like, in a lot of situations.
Think about how long Hardy Fighter was the dominant skill. I mean, it was, I'm gonna say a year. It was probably a little bit less than that, but it's still very good today. But like, it was the dominant skill for around a year, and we just don't have that now. Like, it's we have a skill that's dominant for a couple months, and then we've got a new one.
Yeah, it definitely changed our focus from like, because back then during the Hardy Fighter days, they were very focused on units and like pushing power creep through units. And now it's a lot more through skills. Like, they're still putting out power creep units, don't get me wrong, but the skills have definitely been a bigger focus, as I think they've noticed they can sell skills a lot more because people are so obsessed with their favorites. So it definitely seems like skills aren't as dominant for as long as at least.
Yeah, and that I mean, we've talked about this plenty of times, how like IS has pivoted towards that and trying to cater towards more building units instead of like, you know, summoning for units and just playing with them. And like, what's interesting about that is like which particular like type of unit benefits at the moment of time. Because like when Hardy Fighter came out, obviously it was like armors and tanking and save tanks that benefited a lot. When Guidance came out, it was Catria balls and those type of like nukes that work well with that really, really well. I don't think Cavs really, I guess Cavs got like Flared Sparrow and then Assassin's Strike and Occultist Strike, but like everyone had that. But that just made it so Cavs, you know, had the firepower so that people didn't need to run Catria anymore. And so that in a sort of indirect way that like made calves into the forefront. And now they're trying to do this with Omni tanks, and it's an interesting dynamic, I think, to just see play out. I don't know, like outside of like Ike and a couple others, I don't know how well Omni tanks are doing still, but it's there, and Breath of Life 4 definitely has like that impact, because at the very least it made like burn damage a lot less impactful, which
I've heard how it nerfed AoEs, and I've got to say it kind of did. Like I feel less bad about what it did to AoEs than it did to burn damage. Like it just absolutely said no more on burn damage. AoEs are a little different. Like Desert of Green is still a very good unit.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because like Breath of Life does not increase its healing cap based on AoE damage. It only increases the cap from from burn damage, and so like you're still capped to, I believe, like 20% or like 20% plus something, plus like difference of defense, max 40 when you do the AoEs. And something about AoEs is that if you chip like Emblem Ike down to below 25% HP, you can deactivate a lot of the effects that are reliant on that, even though he gets the healing from Breath of Life 4. And so it's definitely not as impactful towards AoEs than it is to like burn damage.
Yeah, definitely. I mean,
it's been.
I like
go
it.
Ahead, sorry, go ahead.
I like that. It's something I've talked about before. Like I like more soft counters than hard counters.
Yes.
And so adding some nice things that this helps me against AoEs, but doesn't like completely make AoEs like worthless. I think that's the correct path we should be taking when it comes to balancing. Because whenever they do the thing that they always do, which is like hard counters, then like what happens is that people's old investments essentially just become worthless, which is not what you ever want to do in a gacha game, in my opinion.
And that's I think if we look at Duo Leon, I think he absolutely got nerfed on Aether Raid's defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I still think he's very usable on Aether Raid's offense and Summoner Duels. Like I still think he's an excellent unit in Summoner Duels. Probably not the absolute top tier, 2 tiers above everyone else, but I have definitely gotten smacked by Leon just because of his duo skill and how good it is.
Yep. I mean, he just got brought back from like being the best thing in the meta, in my opinion, down to like everybody else's standard, which is good. That's where he should be, right? Like he shouldn't be so ridiculously broken.
But this is kind of, so I've been getting ready. We're almost to that time of year where I do all the retrospective stuff, and I've been looking at all of the individual units and skills in a vacuum. And if you just look at, I mean, there's some exceptions like Male Corrin, and we don't know what happened there, but mostly they've done a good job. If you just look at the individual units and the individual skills, and you said it just a second ago, and the thing that they've been sucking at this year is balance. And they just can't seem to get it right. Like it'll swing wildly from one way to the other, and it'll give you a little bit of whiplash just trying to keep up with it.
Yeah, I agree. I feel like they maybe it's part of their like approach to sell things. You know what I mean? Because like if you make it so that one thing is really good, then the next thing is really good, then like you kind of like if you're a top tier player who cares about that kind of thing, then you're going to be buying the new thing because like it kind of like it's so different. You can't just use the old thing as much. Like I don't want to say you can't use it, but like it's not optimal, right? And if you're one of those players who really care about being optimal in every little situation, then it's a good way to bait people to spend money. So I think that maybe that's why they're doing it, or maybe they're just really bad at designing things. Like it's so difficult for me to say because like whenever I analyze what they do, it's just like, oh my god, I don't know what they're thinking. So.
I'm guessing it's a combination of the two. Sorry, DTM, go ahead.
I mean, I would say I don't think it was like the swings per se is that wild when it comes to like meta shifting things. Because I mean, I guess it depends on how far back you go, but I feel like for the past, I want to say 8 months or something like that, we've, at least in Summoner's Duels, we've been pretty much in like a sort of like cav meta, so to speak, and like high mobility meta in Summoner's Duels, and only recently have like things have sort of turned around into more like sort of tanking teams, although not completely, because nukes are still really strong even with Breath of Life 4. So like when it comes to like the specific meta itself, when it comes to like archetypes, I haven't really thought things have been that wild. And this is especially true when it comes to ether rates, when like, let's be real, ether rates has been kind of stagnant for a while. And so, yeah, it's been, obviously there's definitely shifts in terms of like individual units and individual skills that, you would like to summon for like what's optimal when it comes to like archetypes and like overall like investments in like team types, I haven't really felt those like wild swings.
The two meta spikes that I look at are Dual Leon and Ike, and how close they were back to back. Like both of those units absolutely changed the way we played the game, and there's definitely before those units and after those units, and that's my big worry with balance. Usually in the past we've gotten like one of those a year, and we seem to be getting more of them now.
Yeah, I do agree with what you're saying, DTM. Like we definitely shifted hard into Cavs pretty much like at the end of December, early January, around there probably. Because of the maps mostly, but like,
right.
I think even like that though, like maybe even if it's like a 6 months shift or whatever, like that's a lot. Like if, you weren't there like year 1 or year 2, but like you would go like a whole year with like the meta just like staying not stagnant, but like staying in the same general area, I guess. And then like it would very slowly shift. It wouldn't be like one crazy unit comes out or like one crazy skill comes out and everything changes. It'd be like, oh, we got like this unit and this kind of helps with that. Oh, we got another one. Okay, it kind of helps. You know what I mean? Like it. Maybe I'm just being like old boomer, but like it feels like it feels like it's been like shifting kind of hard. And like the other thing I guess is like the way things changed you from last year, right? Because last year we were like still very much in the capture meta, pretty hard. And then they definitely did a good job of like pushing her power down. Like once again, not making her bad, but just like putting her back in place with everyone else. And then we were really heavily in the warp meta as well, right? With guidance and soaring guidance and stuff like that. And they did a really good job of shutting that down to an extent with like with Mer pretty much, right? Like that definitely was a big hamper on that meta. Even though we were in a cav meta still, like those two teams were like, up there, right? Like everyone was still playing with warping. And so I think it's interesting how these 1 or 2 or 3 big powerful units can come out and really do big shifts on certain like archetypes.
Right. And we talked about Dual Leon. I will say I don't think Dual Leon was like a shift, more say, since we were already in the cav meta, and like Leon sort of just like reinforced that. And obviously, I guess with the nerfs with Breath of Life 4, he's now like at like normal unit levels. Ike is interesting because I think that does represent a shift towards more like Omni tanks when it comes to Summoner Duels, although how successful that will be remains to be seen outside of SDS, because again, like burn damage was not the only way to get through Emblem Ike, so it will be interesting to see how things play out. I've been taking a look at the at some of the Master A like runs that people have done like today, and you definitely see like Emblem Ike there, but beyond that, it's actually most people are only running either like 1 or 2 Omni tanks, which is more than like in years past or in months past, but it's not to like the level of dominance I think that we are fearing, if not just for the sole fact that not many people can afford to have multiple Omni tank teams.
They are expensive, and also a lot of the Omni tanks are like very polarizing, right? Like because we have the tanks who are very very powerful at the top, and then we have like everybody else, right? So it's kind of rough, you know what I mean? Like you have like your Ikes at the top, and then even Corrin, who just came out, right, is several tiers lower power than Ike. Even Edward, right? I think Edward's better than Corrin personally, but even he doesn't really compare to Ike either. So it's kind of crazy how not only the different Omni tanks, how much power they have just between the two different characters you're using, but also like how much investment, right? Also.
So for summoner duels, I don't think Ike really shifted much. I don't think Ike is a very good summoner duels unit, just to be honest. But Nurgle, I think, did. I think Nurgle omni tanking is better than Ike. Ike raid boss versus Nurgle raid boss. I think Nurgle is better, honestly. I've seen some really interesting hybrid raid boss teams with him that are just absolutely monstrous. But back on Leon, looking at him just as a burn damage bot kind of neglects what really is dominant about him, and that is shutting down actions.
Yeah.
Like that's what really made Dual Leon annoying and terrible.
Yeah, definitely. I think there's like a lot of aspects to the meta. It's actually much more complex than people like to make it, right? Because like one thing is like in December is when like burn damage really like shifted really hard because we got Assassin Strike. I guess it was the end of November. We got like Assassin Strike, Occultist Strike. That's really where burn damage started coming out. Then we got Camilla, who really ramped it up to like 20. And then like Leon, obviously, who is the king of the burn damage. But that's one aspect of it, right? We also had the action economy meta going on at the same time with Duo Leon, with Duo Sothe, and now with Sharena and everybody else who gives out 4 actions or more. It's very interesting to see how things shift on different like parts of like the different types of archetypes and how they like come together in different ways too in different units. So it's very interesting, but also like very scary, especially if you aren't like a hardcore player, to keep track of all the little moving parts going on.
Absolutely. I can't imagine trying to learn all the ins and outs of this game just from scratch. Like that's right. That is very complicated. And I guess that's a good pin in that whole balance conversation. On one hand, I wish they did pay attention more to it. On the other, just like you said, I recognize that is not an easy thing. Like this is a very complicated ecosystem that we have going here, and it is difficult to keep everything in the proper checks.
Oh yeah, I mean to be fair, they did that to themselves, but yeah, definitely.
I mean, yes, they did. That's true.
Yeah. Speaking of 4 actions, we now have apparently 2 units with 4 actions. That being Sharena and
we have to do one more thing.
Oh.
I missed the boat completely. I don't know why I thought Bane was going to be good, but man.
Oh, yeah.
Sothe is not good.
It's crazy because, like, if he would have came out, like, last year, like, even the end of last year, he would have been cracked, right? Because we just didn't have that many sources of non-pierceable DR. We had, like, Brave Dimitri and Askers, and that was pretty much it. But, like, man, now we have so many sources that, like, you're not even reliant on specials to get non-pierceable DR. And so like Bane just, it whiffs so much, which is really sad because Bane is such a cool concept. In concept it seems broken, but like when you actually get it out onto the field, like
yeah,
you know it's just how much non-pierceable DR there really is in the game.
Yeah, like I think if it just like ignored DR and put the HP to 1,
oh god.
I mean, that's how it works like in Radiant Dawn, I believe. I guess they couldn't do that because it would have been kind of cracked. But
oh yeah.
I don't know. It would have been
hyper burn damage. Like I don't know what would we call that.
But the thing is, like, it would only activate if you like have your special charge, and like there are ways to play around that with like Scowl and things like that. And so, I mean, I think it would be interesting, but I don't know. Maybe I'm just like.
I think it'd be broken. Oh my god, that'd be insane.
Me and my flash special moments, yeah. Right.
Especially with Disarm Potent, because like Disarm Potent, like you get 3 attacks, so like no matter what, you're getting it procced because you have like, you just get anti-guard, and it's like, okay.
Right.
It's only 2 cooldown. Like, okay. Like, what were they could have made it like a 4 cooldown special and maybe done that, and maybe it would have worked better. Like it could have worked with like some counters then. At 2 cooldown, like, what do you do against that? You know what I mean?
Yeah. And yeah, as you mentioned, like the fact that Bane doesn't get through non-pierceable DR just like makes it go from 1 to like what, like 20 HP or like something like that, and it's not really doing much. So
I gotta tell you, sometimes it's worse than 20 HP. Like I've been playing with this because I for anyone who saw my reaction, I'm sorry. I really thought this unit was gonna be better. I got him in and started testing him, and I was like, nope, not even close. Oops.
I was sitting there for a second, like, is Sothe the most cracked unit on this banner? There's no way, right? I was actually thinking that, and then, like, once I started using it, I was like, nope, Micaiah's way better.
I mean, that just goes to show that it's like really, really hard to gauge how good units are just like on the cuff. Like when we're making these videos, like we have to, in a split second, without like having any like testing or anything in the game to like gauge your decision, make a determination on whether or not like how good these units are. And yeah, it's really difficult, which is why I always personally say to take whatever I say during these reactions with a grain of salt. Because the only way you really know that how a unit is through like testing them in game and things like that. And yeah, Sothe unfortunately was one of those units that looked really, really cool, but just didn't work out in practice, unfortunately.
Attuned systems, you should follow the plan of every other gacha game and make content creator servers so we can test units out. We promise. We won't leak the units, I promise. I totally will not leak anything. Just let us in there early so I can test some stuff and make videos that are actually correct with everything.
Oh, please, please, please.
Yeah, I mean, if they limit it to like just a couple, I don't think there would be any leaks. Unlike in Genshin. But
as long as we're included in the couple, I'm fine.
Yes,
right,
exactly.
It's a couple, it's just Phoenix Master, that's it.
Dang. Maybe next time. But yeah. I guess if there's nothing else on that banner, I guess like there was Edward, but I mean, I'm gonna agree. Cool. I think his main thing is Breath of Life 4. I don't think anyone's considering him for an Omni tank, unfortunately.
I mean, he's definitely like good. Like he's like a tier 2 or 3 Omni tank. He's like, definitely solid. He's just he's not up there.
Yeah.
I ran into a +10. My duo Sharena ran him over. I felt bad. I really did.
Yeah. So yeah, I guess we can move on because Leonardo's just demote to the summer banner. And as what I was saying previously, we do have our second 4-action unit with Summer Gullveig, which I think we all sort of expected to happen. Let's be real.
The only person who didn't was KCB.
That was like one of the worst aging videos I've ever seen or posted.
The tweet was hilarious. He sends the tweet out to me minutes before the trailer, like, Gullveig's not here. Then like 3 minutes later, he's like, my bad, never mind.
Oh, did you? So he did that in his reaction.
Oh my gosh.
In his reaction, he says, hold on, guys, I've got to do something quick. Pulls up Twitter, gets on that post and types, my bad, never mind. It was excellent. I really enjoyed that.
That's amazing.
Yeah. But yeah, on people not so Delulu, we did expect a Summer Gullveig to happen, and I expected like triple action. I didn't expect her to also have a dual skill that was like a Ninjorin or a Linja, which is really, really interesting because theoretically, and I was talking about this because I mentioned one of the things she sort of didn't have going for her was the fact that, she has a perf special and therefore can't really like run AoEs without giving that up. But like she has 4 actions, so like theoretically, you can't just get rid of 1 action and just plop an AoE there. And like with Marthring and Bridal Embla or Valoria, you can have an AoE, not Brave Gullveig, an AoE Summer Gullveig theoretically. It does suck that the true damage, I believe, doesn't factor into the AoE.
It doesn't. I cried a little bit.
Yeah, that's kind of unfortunate. But like, if you want to, you can force it to work, which I think is kind of funny.
I don't have her because I didn't actually pull in that banner. Good job, Oblivion. I know. So I haven't tested her obviously like for myself. I've seen some stuff, but like, I don't like that her true damage doesn't work with AoEs because I feel like AoEs are like the biggest way to get through like those tough tanks that are like either like just ridiculous, or they're like using the Ike Emblem ring or something like that. So that is something like I think that's a bit of a downside. Also, flying is really nice. Like I know you've played with Brave Gullveig a ton, and like flying comes in clutch a lot. So I think that's like one other thing that's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah.
But I mean, obviously, anytime you have a 4-action Gale Force, it's gonna work. And the other thing too is I've actually seen, because the thing with Brave Gullveig is that you can't use her as a follow-up unit. You have to use her as an initiator because there are extra actions in her B slot.
Right.
With this one, you can use it as a follow-up Gale Force, and I've seen that a lot of that actually, and it's kind of cracked. It was like I saw someone do Winter Edelgard, Sharena, and Gullveig, and it was like, okay, like there's so many actions. Like how do you possibly mess this up?
Right. And yeah, like the fact that you can run WOM is just a huge boon, because when initiating with like Summer Gullveig, because she is a Cav, you can't just like use guidance or storing guidance in order to like warp in and around like structures and stuff. And so you either have to smite above like mountains, or it has to be clear, which if you're facing a good defense is probably not likely. But the fact that she can like go as like a follow-up unit, I mean, that also like solves the issue of not being able to run AoE, because like, you know, presumably your initiator will be able to take out like the most important saves, and so that will allow you to like continue, you know, follow up on your Gale Force.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, I think the main issue when it comes to Summer Gullveig is that there's just a lot of options right now for Gale Force. And, you know, like, for me, I still haven't summoned on it because, like, I don't know, my Brave Gullveig is still doing really, really well. Like, we're going up to, like, a year, almost, like 2 months to a year. I haven't felt a need to, like, upgrade from that because, like, Gale Force, as we've been mentioning, is, like, really, really powerful right now with the amount of actions, with the amount of flexibility that we have. And so the need for a unit like Summer Gullveig is, you know, not as strong as it might have been, like, maybe last year or something.
Big Gullveig fan, shake my head.
Let's stop and appreciate what you just said, which was a 4-action unit isn't meta significant enough to be a must pull.
Yep.
And that is nuts. That is a crazy thing for you to say.
Game for you.
Like,
Oh my
even a year ago, if you would have told me that, I would have asked what exactly you were smoking. Like, that's seriously.
I mean, I will say, like, I've been running 11 actions teams without, like, you know, crazy action units before. And so, like, I don't know. It's just, I mean, Gale Force in and of itself is not that popular of a strategy, even still, right? And so it is already really hard for, you know, a Gale Force primarily Gale Force unit to become meta impactful to the point where you need to summon. But also it's just like Ether Raids, again, where Gullveig is primarily going to be used. Like, there's not really a need for, you know, that powerful of units these days when it comes to like being able to play Ether Raids successfully. And so like that just makes like powerful units like Summer Gullveig less necessary, which I think is personally a good thing, right? It's a good thing that, you know, there's not as much need to like summon 4 powerful units and things like that. I mean, I still don't anyways, but like it's a good thing that there's this reduced need for that. I don't think it's necessarily like a comment on like power or anything. It's just like the meta right now is like, again, you can make a lot of things work, specifically in like Ether Raids. And so yeah,
I think it speaks to 2 things. One of them is that offense is so overtuned right now. Like it is so much easier to play offense than it is defense right now. Defense is really hurting with all of the different ways that you can get hit. But I think it does speak a little bit to the level of power creep and the fact that this is that a unit that has this many things going for it isn't a must summon. It lets you know what they have to do in order to raise the bar once again and get people to open their wallets, which is a little scary.
I mean, that's kind of their fault, though, right? Like, I mean, like, when
absolutely their fault. Yes.
This is what happens when you're like, hey, before it was like they're handing out like candy to kids, and it was like, okay, you know, all you do is just like give them a video game or something, and they're gonna be more entertained, right? Now they're like just handing out heroin to everyone, and it's like, okay, what do we do now? How do we get them to buy something new? It's like, okay, well, that's your guys' fault for getting everyone addicted.
I mean, there's to a certain extent that as well, but I mean, you all know my feelings are. I've never thought there was a must summon unit in the game. Like
lies. There's no Bryocatria was a must summon unit. 100% Bryocatria was a must summon unit. Like that unit. If there's any unit that's a must summon, it had to be her.
I was about to say the unit that was closest was Bryocatria.
Rearmed Tana. Mostly just because of her C skill, but I think Rearmed Tana was a must summon.
I don't think so. I think there were like ways to like get around not having guidance. Obviously, like guidance is super powerful, but it's not like you needed guidance for either arena, ether raids, and even like summer duels. I've seen like folks be able to like get by without that. Obviously, it's a lot harder, but you know, it was doable, and so like you didn't theoretically need to summon for that. Theoretically, the same can be said for Hardy Fighter too, since I have seen people run like Shield Pulse 3, funnily enough. Shout outs to I think it was Ilya.
Yeah, Ilya.
Yeah, but like obviously like there are certain skills that, you know, any serious player would like probably summon for when it comes to SD, like guidance for Hardy Fighter. I don't think that is the same as a thing that you need to summon for, though.
I would push those. I would actually push both Hardy Fighter, although less than Guidance 4, but I would put Hardy Fighter and Guidance 4 in that boat. Like I think those are must summon things just to, in order to make the game palatable. So
they're as close to the most must summon as we'll get,
yeah.
Right? Catch is the closest, and those two things after probably.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, I mean Catcher is just like a god tier unit. Like I don't know how that unit existed for so long. And even now, she's still really good. Like it's
I don't care what anyone says. Catria is still really good. Like, don't listen to the propaganda.
I saw people making fun of you for that the other day.
I know.
They're
what?
like you're.
People are hating.
They're like, you're running a Catcher ball in 2024.
Like, no, she's still really good. People still run her, like, literally in SDS, reach rank 1 with her. Like, what are you talking about?
In SDS, yes, but again, the majority of people are going to be playing AR, and in Aether Raids, she has fallen off a lot.
Yeah,
it's
really
near impossible to run a Catcher ball right now.
Yeah, definitely.
I think Satoshi's still running a Catria ball, even though I told him to switch. I might be mistaken, but
hopefully
if I'm
not
not
in light season. If it's in light season, he's really hurting right now.
Yeah.
I think we need to move on to Hrid though and talk about Zeshadow's horrible sham showcase.
Yeah.
Where he showed Arden outspeeding
Oh my god.
Duo Sharena.
Dude, these scam showcases get to like crazy levels. It's like, okay. And the thing is, if like you don't know the game that well, you won't see all the stuff hiding in the background. But the people who do, they see it and they're like, oh, okay, I know you did.
Yeah. And like it's totally fine to like have those like showcases, see here's this cool thing I do. Like it's another thing for like people in the comments, people like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this happened. What is the game going to? It's like, you do realize this is not like something that happens normally, right?
Right.
It's like,
right.
Yeah. Like maybe not the best example, but I remember like seeing the showcase where like Dual Leon like shut down 5 units on Aether Raid's defense. It's like, okay, sure, all the defense will have like all their speed matching for that to happen. Okay.
Now you're calling me out for a second. I was like, damn, DTM, really? Okay.
All right. So that being said, I do think I still hold to what I said in my original reaction. I don't know that Hrid is really meta relevant. I think he's very neat, but I have thought about him paired up with Lucia.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
And I've been starting to kind of roll that around in my head. And I know Lucia fans are kind of bitter because she fell off pretty hard. I kind of wonder with all the new things you've got, if she wouldn't be, back and rolling. So it's something that I would love to test, but I also have not summoned on this banner.
What I want to know, and I haven't seen anyone test yet, is does Diamant's effect stack with Hrid's frozen effect?
Ooh.
That would be kind of insane. I really wanted to test that, but I also don't want to summon, so. But like that would be like what, plus 40 to a speed check to double? Like that's kind of nuts. And then you just slightly speed stack Diamant?
Yeah. I mean, that effect, like Frozen, I think, is like really, really interesting. And I think there's a lot of cool things that can be done with it. I think the problem is just Hrid himself and him not being that good of a unit, being in like a Lance Cav, and you're not going to compare it to Brave Crown. I'm sorry, but
well, there's that's the problem, and penalty cleansing is becoming more and more common.
Yeah.
And that's the other problem. Like it's not a guarantee that Frozen actually lands.
Right. I mean, I did call last year that this effect would become inheritable in some way, right? So I think this is the first step towards that. Mm-hmm. But I definitely think this effect will become more prevalent because it's a way to actually deny doubles, right? Like, NFU kind of just destroyed everything. So I think it will become more prevalent. It will definitely happen.
If this effect was on Attuned Micaiah, we would be having a very different conversation right now.
God,
absolutely.
No. Thank God it's not.
Yeah,
give it to Felix, though. Give it to Felix. put it in his weapon or his preference skill.
Yeah, definitely. And you'll make Felix into a lance or a sword cav, and then
no cav. No calves. Stop. When we get Brave Grima, I'm going to laugh so hard. My whole reaction is just me laughing for like 15 minutes.
I guess we'll have to wait and see who will be the winner of this beef, I guess.
I guess.
This bet, yeah.
Let's make a bet. Is there any wonder why DTM gets the most diss tracks out of any FEH right now?
This match.
But yeah, it will be interesting to see if Hrid's effect or the Diamant effect will be on any other units. Also, I just pulled up the wiki, and it says stacks with similar skills. So I would assume it would stack. Again, I haven't tested that.
So you get Diamant, right? He has a built-in. Then you get Frozen, which is a stats effect. And then you get a skill that has it as well. And then the unit has to have 60 more speed than you to double. I like this. I like this.
We're going back to
put on Felix.
Yeah, we're going back to Brave and one-shot nukes. That's going to be the new meta.
Oh God, yep.
But yeah, is there anything interesting about the other units? Like, I think we had Nerthuz, I believe, that's next, which I guess is an interesting beast cav. But nothing too particularly interesting showed up in my end when I was like.
I think if you liked OG Nerthuz, then you love her upgrade.
Right.
And if she fit on your teams before, then she fits on your teams again now. But that's I mean, we saw the impact of Mythic Nerthuz, and she's
impact
good.
In quotes.
Yeah.
In quotes, yeah.
I mean, the real impact is that new art. Everybody's seen it. Oh my god.
Yes. Oh, it's so good.
But the thing is with this banner is so weird. It's like they have 2 tank supports. Like they're trying to push that archetype, which hasn't really worked. It's always been nuke supports that really stand out. Like the best tank support we got maybe was like Legendary Alir, and even then that didn't really hit that super hard either. So it is interesting. I think the coolest thing about Nerthuz, honestly, is the new Beast C skill. It's a very weird C skill, to be fair, but the fact that they are giving out these new effects, or these common effects, I should say, to Cavs finally through these odd speed waves or whatever speed waves.
Yes.
And then also the Beast Friend. And is cool. So it means Beast can finally get Times Pulse, right? It's only been like,
Yeah.
I don't know how many years since Times Pulse was added today, but now Beast can get it. Now they can also get Tempo and NFU without having to rely on support. So I think that's like really the best thing about this banner. The units themselves are interesting, but like I always like seeing them broaden the ability for people to build their units the ways they want to, right?
Yeah, definitely. And also, this summer banner came with the Tempest Trials that had the Beast Transformation seal as well, which just completely removes the Beast Transformation conditions. And so you can have your Femortises without needing to, like, always transform, without needing to, like, you know, do anything. You can have your Fatal Guards without needing to, like, put her into a corner with another Beast or Dragon unit. Like, is this the start of Beast getting some love?
Hopefully.
Well,
But the problem is that Beast units always get like half-ass stuff. You know what I mean? Like it's like like that seal. That seal should have like stats on it or something. Like give like +2 to all stats or something. You know what I mean? But, like,
you know what else it should have had? 300 SP.
Yes, that too, for sure. Like, what the heck?
Absolutely should have had 300 SP. That's something it should have scored well, and it still scores good. It just I expected that, and it didn't happen.
Right? Yeah. We're still waiting for Beast to encounter.
Yep. Which is like such a funny skill because like I think the only units that would actually appreciate that already have DC in their weapons.
It's not. Racing needs DC. Everybody knows that.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Known Omni Tank Racing.
He's so good.
What sort of like beast skills would you like to see Oblivion, I guess?
I mean, there's so many I want. Like, it's ridiculous how many I want. But like, I just want ones where the Beast transformations take like half the skills effect. That's what I really want. Because I feel like that's the case, right? Like, dragons get like these insane skills. They have their own special and stuff like that. And the Beasts just get like these like mediocre, okay options. Like, some of them are decent, but they're just not that great. I would really want to see Beast Hardy Fighter just so Femortis can be a little bit better. That would be nice.
That was what I was gonna say. Yes.
I'd also just like to see them get their own like personality to their skills, like how dragons are like very like resistance, like a lot of their skills revolve around resistance and stuff like that. I think it'd be interesting if they did something similar with Beast, maybe like if
make it defense.
Yeah, maybe defense, or like just something where like there's like this common attribute between the skills. I think that'd be interesting. Or like just give them something that makes them have a niche, right? Because right now, what's the real niche dragon or beast have over dragons? Like, oh, they can Gale Force. That's literally it, pretty much. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, okay.
It's
like,
literally
like,
just Valoria and Embla right now, just like having that niche, and yeah.
So hopefully we can. I have a lot of hope in Nidhoggers coming out and giving out like a new beast armor skill. I think that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that could be like the Beast Hardy Fighter. It could be like maybe Beast Weaving Fighter or Beast
Beast Lagoose Friend. Let's do that.
Yeah, Beast Lagoose Friend.
Beast Lagoose Friend.
Beast Friend 4.
Yeah, Beast Friend 4.
Yeah.
Friend with myself.
Would it be like Bjork's Friend 4 or something?
Yeah,
As,
maybe.
like,
Yeah. I'll take it. Give me it.
Can Beast run Lagoose Friend 4 or no? I can't remember.
Yeah, they can.
Okay, right, because it's undefensible or something in the Japanese translation. I don't know why it's called Lagoose Friend 4 here.
Such a better name. It really is a better name in Japanese.
Yeah. They didn't transfer the name for Marth's emblem for Marth's skill. They still call it Potent, which is completely different to what like it was in Engage. But for some reason they kept to it here, even though like it literally makes no sense. And yeah, I don't know.
I have no idea what that English translation team is thinking ever. Like they're just like I don't even know.
I think they're on summer vacation, and we can tell because of Micaiah. I mean, that's
Yep. 2 mistakes on the same link.
Yeah. Oh well. But yeah. Again, like we mentioned before, there is the upcoming Emblem hero that we've talked about. There's also the upcoming summer banner that is upcoming, and I know we got heroes and I guess half awakening as well, so it's unlikely that we'll get awakening or heroes for this next one. Like, what game or like units are you expecting for this next
Petra.
summer banner? Petra. Yeah.
Petra.
Stop, guys! Stop. my wallet has been taking a beating. We just need to just give it a little bit of a rest, like just a little bit. You know what I mean?
But seriously, if we don't get a 3 houses unit, I will be shocked. Absolutely shocked.
I think we've had a 3 houses unit for like 3 or 4 years in a row, right? Something like that.
For summer, I think so. I can't remember.
I know. It's so hard to remember like off the top of your head.
Yeah.
Last year we had Ymir, we had Sacred Stones because there was like Ephraim and Larish.
Actually, maybe we didn't get a summer 3 houses unit last year because like it was full Sacred Stones last year, I believe.
Oh no, we had Ymir, right?
Oh yeah. I think.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was Summer Shamir, right? Jewish Shamir.
Yeah, it was Shamir. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So we'll definitely get something. I don't know what it will be, but probably that. And then I don't know what the other one will be. Like I get it could Radiant Dawn again, and I'm just like, oh, God.
I don't think it'll be Radiant Dawn so soon. I think it might be Fates or something. I don't know. 3 houses and Fates. Has it been a while? I guess. Legendary male Corrin doesn't count. Never mind. Yeah.
I mean, we got the Zura banner not too long ago, so it could be like FE1.
Oh right.
Like yeah. The problem is like with summer, like that's where they make a lot of money, so they're probably gonna put good stuff there, right? Like they're trying to get you to pull. That way you have no votes for CYL.
They might get like engaged units like Gold Mary or Etier or like other summer units like that.
Right. Yeah. Oh, they also Shez. They did Shez last year too.
Right.
It will probably be that would be a strong banner. 3 houses and engaged. You put like really popular 3 house females on there, and you put really popular engaged females on there, like Gold Mary. That banner will sell like 100%.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm looking at when the last banners were for all the different games, and we're due for a Shadows of Valencia banner. So,
right.
There's
no units left.
I'm just gonna say this.
For summer there would be.
Yeah, but like, sorry, Echoes fans, but Shadows of Valencia is not. I don't think there's going to be a summer Shadows of Valencia banner. Like, it's just not that popular of a game.
They'll stick them on the dead banner.
Yeah.
I love Echoes. I might be the only one, but I love it.
Don't worry, Echoes will have their final banner of the game in like a year, and then that'll be its celebration swan song. They'll go all
as
out.
Long as they can do that to Awakening too. There's only like 1 character missing now.
They'll announce end of service, and then they'll do a TMS banner.
That would be the best joke ever. I would literally die. I wouldn't be able to breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that does it for the podcast. Thank you to, as always. It's always amazing having these discussions, and yeah, do apologize to all the Echoes fans, but don't worry, you'll get your due soon, I'm sure.
We should all we should all make a bet who the Emblem hero is this month, just so we have it on record. I'm going with Lynn. I think it's gonna be Lynn.
If it's blue, I'm going to say Lucina, and this is not me coping, but like thinking of blue bow Lucina.
+10, right? And
yeah, totally.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, obviously. Yeah, totally.
I know this doesn't make sense, but I'm gonna go with Camilla.
I just got my Camilla emblem, Joel. You want me to get stalked by another one? Like, what are you doing?
Because they have no chill. They're like, okay, Camilla's back. They liked her. We're gonna put a whole bunch of her out now.
Probably. It's been about 6 months too, so that would make sense.
Yeah. I guess the bets have been written. We'll see who wins in, I think, around 9-ish days or so in a week. But yeah, thank you all so much for watching. Hope you all enjoyed. Do let us know down in the comments what your favorite new addition in FEH was this past month. And yeah, hope you all have an amazing rest of the day. And see you all next time. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.